What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from New Holland Brewing. They're out of Holland, Michigan, and this is their Passion Blaster. So they're calling this a Rosé Ale with passion fruit, raspberry, and apple flavors. Comes in at 6% alcohol by volume, 15 IBUs in the time of review. This can is approximately 7 months old, and I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine, a viewer of the channel, Jeff, aka NoJinx, for hooking me up with this one. I will post a link in the description box to the Beer Mouth unboxing video I did of all the goodies he sent my way. This is the last of the so-called summer crushers of the beer mail he sent my way. I've reviewed all the summer crushers. I still have a couple of like the barrel-aged beers he sent my way and the bigger beers that I still have to review in the fall. But this beer is, like I said, last of the summer crushers. We are a couple days at the time of review, a couple days past the beginning of fall, so technically no longer summer as I'm reviewing this one, but it's like 75 degrees outside, so yeah, it's still warm. And yeah, I saved this one for last just because by the time Jeff sent it to me, this one was already like 5 months old, so I just threw it right into the fridge and just let it chill, chill out for a little while. I had other beers in front of it that I need to drink from him, and just like IPAs and whatnot. So whether this is 5 months old or 7 months old, don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Again, Rosé Ale, pretty popular as far as styles. I've seen like Firestone Walkers and a bunch of other breweries, trying to just brew a style like that. This is very rosé wine-like. They're using passion fruit, raspberry, and apple flavors, which weird. Why does passion fruit, raspberry, and apple flavors? Why not actual fruits? I don't know. It's weird. They say just the flavor says fresh, tropic, satisfying. Well, I guess we'll see. I'm not positive. Anyway, let's crack this open and give it a pour. Yeah, I'm hoping that this is, quite refreshing, how it should be. Yeah, that's a cool color. It's a real cool color. Ooh, pretty carbonated. A little dirty glass mafia going on too, so my apologies for my terrible ability to clean my glasses, but yeah, we're good now. It's pretty much done. Anyway, pours out this really nice, I would say that's like a dark orange into almost red-like color. It's murky, can't really see through it. Really darker in the middle, on the outside, just like tinges of like an orangish red. About a finger of this cream-colored head, looking relatively creamy. That's a cool color. I can't really tell you what that looks like exactly. It just looks cool. Anyway, let's get a nose. Raspberry, and more raspberry. Raspberry on the nose. A little bit of like a red apple core. Not really getting passion fruit. This actually smells jammy, believe it or not. Like a lot of raspberry, like jamminess. It is the second, I'm pretty sure, is it the second, second fruit. What did I put it with the dent? Is there dents over here? There's no dents over here. Not that it matters. Like, does it matter? But there's a dent. Why would I put it? This guy. Yeah, really jammy raspberries. There's like a bready like malt quality, almost like jam on white bread, not toasted, just white bread. I know it sounds kind of weird. I can't get much more than that jammy raspberry and a little bit of like breadiness from the malt. Like this has it's really jammy raspberry qualities. I'm very surprised at this. I thought this would smell like a rosé wine. I thought it would just have more of like a, I don't know, just not a jammy, sweeter vibe to it. I thought it wouldn't be as sweet as it is, but it is. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Jeff. Okay, taste is not as jammy, and it is quite dry. Jesus. The dryness on this one for me is actually approaching like Brewed IPA-esque. Going for rosé, wine, Rosé Ale. I see, definitely dry. It does have a decent residual sweetness, but definitely finishes dry. So right up front, that raspberry is mixing in with an apple, and nice fruit flavors. Pass through the palate, a little bit of that like tartness from the Passionfruit pops in. A little bit of underlying, just generic like white bread maltiness on this one. And then you get to the back of the palate, it dries out. This is full on dry for me. Just an almost full on dry. There's a slight residual sweetness, but mostly full on dry. And the lingering flavor is just like a slight tart but jammy raspberry for me. Body on this one, 6%. Lower side to almost approaching medium body, so appropriate. The mouthfeel itself, very effervescent. This is wine-like, and it's well, like a rosé wine. I'm pretty sure they're carbonated, right? I'm not. Listen, I don't know much about rosé wine. I'm pretty sure if they're not carbonated, like this is more like a carbonated wine, like a wine spritzer, but this is like a rosé wine that has a bunch of carbonation. It almost feels like it's champagne-esque in its carbonation and the dryness. This is very champagne-esque to me. Again, I don't know much about a wine. I just know I see these rosé ales and it's supposed to mimic a rosé wine, and I can't say I've had a rosé wine knowingly. Like I might have had it here or there at some point, but no, I off the top of my head, no. In general, though, this is pretty refreshing. It's a bit too dry for me. And I've mentioned this before, and I think Jeff knows it, like dry beers, I mean, it's part of the reason I don't like brewed IPAs. Not even because I don't enjoy the flavors of brewed IPAs. Some of the brewed IPAs, I like the flavors. Just, for me, super dry, just over-the-top dry beers are just not my jam. I don't mind like a semi-dry finish, but when you're talking almost a full-on dry finish, and my entire palate is devoid of saliva, and it's just, I just want to keep on going back. I know a lot of people are like, I love the dryness because it makes me want to drink more. And as you drink it, yeah, it wipes away the dryness, but then it instantly comes back. So I'm not a huge fan of dry beers. This one is quite dry, more dry than I would like, but I do like the flavors here. I like the slight tart, jammy raspberry, a little bit of that red apple core, slight tartness from the passion fruit, and I like the white bread malt base. I like the flavors of this one. The flavor profile of this is really good. For me, that dryness knocks it down. I don't even mind the higher carbonation. I just don't like the big dryness. So the highest I can do on Passion Blaster from New Holland, for me personally, like a high 3.5 out of 5. I go 3.6 out of 5. That's like the highest I could do. If not for that dryness, this would be approaching a 4. Just flavor-wise, like I like this. This would probably be like a 3.9-ish, something like that. But that dryness for me is just a bit overwhelming for my palate personally. It might be different for you just because, we all have different opinions. We all have different palates. We all like different things. So if you're really into like drier beers, this one would probably be for you. Value and availability on this one, I don't really know. We do get New Holland in our area. I have not seen Passion Blaster. So Jeff, if you want to let me know what you paid for this one, I would truly appreciate it. The availability, probably mostly where New Holland gets distribution. Like I said, I haven't seen the Western New York area. It doesn't mean it's not in the Western New York area. It just means that I haven't seen it. So it could very well be in the Western New York area. I'd imagine a beer like this should get to most of the distro markets. So, I don't know. I haven't seen it personally, but I don't know. So I'm no use when it comes to availability of a brewery that just gets some distro in my area, so I'm sorry. But anyway, decent beer. I enjoy. Thanks again, Jeff, for sending my way. 6%, really can't even tell this, has alcohol in it, which is fine. Like I said, just wish this was a little bit less dry, and I think this would be my jam. No pun intended. So thanks again, Jeff, for sending this one my way. Thanks to everybody for stopping by another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. If you've had this one, let me know what you think about it. Until the next one, cheers.